Hello, welcome back to the It Takes a Village podcast. I'm actually thinking about calling it Tea Time with Rebecca or something like that. I haven't decided yet, but you're welcome to share your opinion about this because I really want this to feel as if we were sitting together, sharing a cup of tea, and I'm sharing some thoughts with you. It's unedited, unfiltered, just as you would experience if you would sit right next to me. Today, I'm busy peeling some pomegranate. I don't know if you have anybody in your life who loves pomegranate. I do, and it takes really a lot of time to peel. So I thought I can do this while I'm sharing some thoughts with you. What I wanted to share with you today is about how we are planting seeds in others by the way we choose to live life. This goes especially for parents, and especially for parents who are choosing to live in a similar way than I do, where we are spending a lot of time with our children. And I know that this is not super common in the modern Western world, unfortunately. And no matter what, we are planting seeds in other people also if we are around other other people's children as a teacher or caretaker, or just in general when we are around people that we spend our days with, or who observe us or meet us in any capacity or form. And so many times I feel we are just living life more, we don't really think about the impact that we have on other people. For me, this was an eye-opener when I became a parent, when I realized I was pretty clear about what kind of values I wanted to pass on to my children and to other people also, for that matter. And I just felt that I was living, or I was holding these values, but I was living this. For example, I really, really wanted my children to trust in themselves and to follow their own inner knowing, to stand up for themselves, or to speak up for themselves. I wanted them to be respected by the people around them. I wanted them to really follow their passions. I wanted them to prioritize their health and their bodies and be in deep connection with their bodies and so on. And then I thought, okay, I'm not really living this life. And as we know, actions speak louder than words. So it doesn't really, or I also do believe that words matter a lot. And I believe that all of us probably have memories of words that people spoke to us, our parents or other people in our lives, that stick to us like sticky tag, that are actually really hard to get rid of, even if we want to. There's a saying, the way we speak to our children becomes their inner voice. And I really believe that too. So I'm not saying that words don't matter, but I really do believe that our actions also matter in the way we model life. And that is like what we absorb. I mean, that's how we work as humans, right? We observe the people in our environment and then we copy. That's a lot of how we live life. And many times we don't even question what we are copying. We are just copying it. So for me, it was really important that I live a life that I want them to copy. And for example, I was a world-class people pleaser. And that was something I really didn't want them to copy. And there was things I was really, really afraid of, things of like doing things or trying things making mistakes, and that those of you who know me a little more know that I'm unschooling my kids. And one of the many reasons why I'm unschooling my kids is that I feel the relationship I was conditioned to have with making mistakes was a not very helpful one, because I always, like, so many times when I tried something, when I wanted to try something new, and it still is somewhere inside of my body, but I feel I've really distanced myself quite a lot from this. But my initial feeling was, when I wanted to try something new, I already saw in my mind's eye, or I felt this feeling of like a teacher sitting there with a red pen and just crossing it out and saying, mistake, wrong, um, you know, and that really holds us back from doing the things that we want to do and that we want to try out. And in order to try out things, we need to be willing to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes is probably one of the most things, or the most certain things, that are going to happen on the way. So that was one of the many things I wanted to change in my own life, so I would be able to support my children to live a different life than I was doing at that moment. And so I could, as I was thinking about and becoming clear about what kind of values I wanted to pass on to them, and thinking about, okay, then I really also need to embody these values. So this was really a powerful initiation to create a totally different life, because it was as if I got the opportunity to rethink my own life. Like, whatever I'm living now, is that what I wish for my children? Because this is going to be such a strong imprint for my children. And there was a lot of things, like, even apart from those things that I just mentioned to you, that I felt called to change. Another thing was that I was so used to go beyond my own limits and capacities, but not in a stretchy form, like, like going into discomfort because it's out of our comfort zone. Like, that's where the growth lies, but more going on when I was super tired and exhausted and my whole body was screaming for rest and pause. But that was just nothing that was celebrated, or that was normal in the way when I was in my earlier life. It was more this pushing through life. And yet for my children, I really wanted them to feel into their bodies and to take their bodies as guidance for where they were going and where they were at, so that they move on as whole beings, and not, I feel, in the way that many people live. The body and our health is kind of secondary, yet I feel, or even further away in the priorities, yet I feel our health is like the absolute foundation. And one of the big parts in order to maintain our health or increase our health is to be in real good touch with our bodies, and to hear our bodies before they start screaming, right? Like, for example, I think, for example, when our bodies are getting a disease or having a symptom, it's like our bodies are trying to tell us something. We're getting a a cold or something like that, our bodies maybe want to say it's time to rest or it's time to detox or whatever else. And yeah, that's a whole different topic, but I really believe it's so important to be in touch with our bodies. Or just feeling when we are tired and responding to that, okay, then I'm going to take a rest or I'm going to take a nap or something like that. So becoming aware of my power to plant seeds in other people and realizing that I am not like some isolated being in this world, but whether we want it or not, we're constantly touching other people and we're constantly planting seeds in other people and seeds of different kinds. And when we become intentional of kind of seeds do I want to plant, like the life I'm creating for myself is actually not only for myself, but it's also such a powerful model and inspiration and support, or it can be this for other people. And another thing for me was the conditioning to sacrifice myself for others and putting myself last and thinking like, okay, I'm going to serve everybody. And then if there's some crumbs left, I can maybe take those for myself. But then we're constantly serving somebody else. And when I start to think about, okay, like in sports, for example, I used to do a lot of sports. And if you're doing, like, if you're in a team sport, you know that, like you can, how's it called? Like you can only be as strong as your weakest link or something like that. It's also a little bit sad actually to think about this. But like if we leave somebody behind, or if there's somebody in our team who is not on board or not healthy or whatever, it's going to be hard for the whole team because we need the whole team to be well and to be well resourced, well equipped, well in their bodies, well in shape, and all these things in order to manage well as a team. And the way we're living in society, I sometimes feel that we have forgotten about this, or we prioritize the others so much. And I really, really love being there for other people. And I really love supporting other people and all those things. And I absolutely support when other people want to do that. But when it goes so far that everybody is ignoring themselves and their own needs and only trying to serve others, then we are like destroying ourselves and sacrificing ourselves on the path to, or with the desire to create something good for the others. But if the others also all are people who are doing the same, like how are we going to create a good, healthy, thriving community? So I really believe in going back to ourselves and tending to ourselves, first of all, just because we matter. You matter so much. You're a divine creation. And why should you not deserve to be well and supported and all the goodness, joyful and well rested and well nourished? But also, like, if we are really thinking about the collective, like my biggest contribution to the collective is to make sure that I'm well, that I'm well rested, well resourced, that I'm joyful, that I'm pleasant to be around, that I feel that I have my batteries charged, that I have a cup that is filled that I can give something from. So there's so many reasons I feel why it's important to tend to ourselves and our own most beautiful, most radiant path to create a life that lights us up and create a life that we want for other people to have as a model, as an inspiration, because you are planting seeds through everything, every day in your life, and whoever's life you're touching, they are looking at you in one way or the other, and you are impacting them if you want to or not. And why not choosing a way to impact them that I feel like, wow, she's or he is so inspiring. And, I get so much good energy from her. And she's so vibrant and so gentle or so connected with her feelings. She's like showing her rage, for example. That is something I have some people in my life who are just spoke to a lady the other day who said like, when I'm angry, it's gonna come out. One way or the other, it's gonna come out. And I admire this so much. I mean, this is a lady, she's like in her 50s, I believe. And one of my best friends, she is 4, I believe. She's also really great at expressing her anger. And that also really inspires me. Like expressing whatever comes up for us and all the directions. I feel that is really truly inspiring for me. And I really would love for you to take a moment to just feel into yourself. What is it that you really want to live? What is it that you want to plant in others? What lights you up when you look at others? What do you really admire? That's probably something that you also would want to have for yourself. So how can you bring that into your life? And if you have children, what is it that you want them to take with from you? What do you want them to inspire? What do you want them? How do you want to inspire them? Okay. And one last thing. No, my family's coming back. One last thing. I want you to know, like, if that feels a bit too overwhelming, if you feel, I want my children, for example, if that I feel children are really, really a big reason to dedicating ourselves to this big, massive shift, which requires a lot of dedication and a lot of going through stickiness and going into new places. I want to share something that recently came up in my beautiful group, Written and Free. One mom, she shared with us that she had talked to one of her children, and she had said to her girl, "Do you love yourself?" And the girl said, "Yeah, mom, I really do." And then she turned to her mom and she said, "Mommy, what about you? What about you? Do you love yourself?" And the mom, it just touched me so much. The mom said, "I'm learning to." And what I just want to tell you by sharing this little story is that I can see so much, like I know this mom really well because I have the honor that I got to work with her for a long time now and get to know her really well. And I know like the patterns that she grew up with. And I see what she's creating for her own children. And I can see her as this powerful portal of bringing change to her whole bloodline. And her parents are captured in this old way of living or in their own timeline or whatever. And, that is what it is. And she can't change it. But what she can do is that she can support her own children and herself on this journey. And just because she's aware of this and she is committed to bringing this change, she has already changed it in her own children. And and then she gets her children to teach her and to inspire her how to love yourself, because she never learned it when she was little. And I hope that you feel inspired to do the same with your own children or the people around you, to spread this love and plant seeds, even though maybe you're not perfect at it yet. Probably nobody of us is, but it's so powerful to see that, just by planting a seed, it can already grow, even though you yourself haven't figured it out all the way yet. Okay, now I think I'm gonna take a deep breath, and you get to take a deep breath with me. And I feel so honored that I got to spend a little time with you again today. I'm looking forward to our next episode together. I'm very happy about having a whole bowl filled with pomegranate. And for this time that we got to spend together today. Thank you so much, and see you next time. And if you like this episode, please press the like button. We're so welcome to share it if you feel you have anybody in your life that could benefit from it, or share it on social media and your stories or wherever. Feel free to reach out to me, drop a comment underneath, or send me a message or an email, info@ittakesavillage.se, to share if you want me to talk about a certain topic. And subscribe to my channel. That also helps to spread the channel, so that other people can get to join our beautiful circle too. Thank you so much for being here and for being on this little podcast experiment together with me. And I wish you the most gorgeous rest of your day, beautiful soul.